Hey folks, Captain Dave here. What I'm going to do today is show you a little bit about the lures that I was using in my last video. And you can leave any comments or anything like that because I'll leave that open. In my last video, I did basically topwater, subsurface, caught some really nice trout. One thing here in Jacksonville, Florida that you must do in the summertime is go on out, leave at dark, just like I did in the video. And my favorite is to leave at dark and then have the high tide somewhere around maybe 7 a.m. So it gives you plenty of that nice high water, low current, lower current situation. And you can maybe even fish the first of that fallen tide. But what I wanted to show you was a little closer in-depth look at the lures that I used. Here's the first one. This here is the Egret Baits Kick A mullet. Okay, and I'll show you the little package that it comes in. There it is. Whoop. Here you go. Of course, it's the Egret Baits Kick A mullet slow sinking. Here's their website, egretbaits.com. That's real simple. This is the lure right here. I don't get fancy with colors because I'm always fishing low light conditions. So that's a little bit different than maybe some of the guys that I've talked to on even Facebook over in Texas, Louisiana. They're throwing this thing. It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon and catching and busting big giant trout. But here, as we all should know, your low light conditions first thing in the morning with the proper tide in the proper area of the river. The first thing that I look for is a little slower current, and I'm fishing on particular spots that I have found to have lots of mullet around. You see a lot of mullet jumping. You see a lot of wakes in the water. So this here is the Egret Kick A mullet. I do a little loop knot up here. Not that I need it that much. But what I'm doing with this lure is I'm throwing it out. I'm doing a 1 potato, 2 potato kind of sink rate. And then slowly reeling it back to the boat. All right. Let me read you what they say on the back here. Designed after the original wedge tail, the new Kick A mullet suspends, rattles, and kicks as it swims. Its slow sinking action drives big trout crazy. It also makes a world-class wake bait when worked right under the surface. A twitch stop is the best all-around technique for this bait. The fall rate depends on salinity, but changing hooks can slow or speed this up. And this one's referred to as just a 5-inch black mullet. All right. Well, that's what I sort of wanted to show you here. I changed the hooks. I'm using a lot stouter owner hooks here. I mean, look at them. Okay, they'll hang on your fingerprint. And I added heavier and a little bit better, I think, split rings. Here's the hooks. 4 times strong, size 2 owner trebles. I just had them because I use these particularly on another lure that I'm going to show you in a minute. All right. And then I was using the size 5 60-pound oval Eagle Claw split rings. Okay. So, there you go. I'm hoping to make this go a little deeper. Now, what this lure does and what I do versus what maybe some other, fishermen do when they use it is this lure. This tail kicks back and forth, and you can hear it's got a rattle ball in it. There's no rattle. in the lure itself, here in the body, just this articulated tail. What I do is I throw this out as far as I possibly can. I cast it as far as I can. And then I give it kind of a 1 potato, 2 potato sink rate, and then slowly reel it back to the boat. With the other hooks that it comes with and lighter split rings, it goes about that far underwater. I mean, just under the surface, and the tail wags like that, going click, 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 click. And I've actually had trout up behind it like this, waking themselves, and then they bust the living hell out of this thing. Okay? But the true, I guess, purpose of this for me is I found it very, very easy for my customers to cast and use. It casts like a bullet because it's stern weighted here. Okay? They can take a spin rod, cast it out real far, up towards the bank or over structure, and then let it sink just a second, and then all they have to do is reel. So, that's better because of the fact that, not a lot of people know how to walk the dog and operate a lure, a fancy action lure. So this bait is indispensable for me. What I do is I put a very heavy leader on the front because of the jacks, because of the bluefish, the green scourge fish that are still around, and I don't seem to have any problems. That right there is, I think, probably 50 or 30 Mason hard type nylon. It stays extremely straight. Okay, and I put a little loop knot up in the front. All right, so that's the true reason I use this. It really works for customers, and when I'm feeling lazy. And I like to do what I call switch baiting. If I get like a total blow up on a true topwater walking the dog or something, that fish is still there. And if he misses this, that's fine and dandy. Because then, if I'm using something like this, which is my river to sea wide glide subsurface, there's many ways that you can run this particular lure. And if I get serious blow-ups on this, but they're kind of missing it, this is already rigged up, and I'll throw it out there and just wake it right across the surface, and they'll usually come back and they'll nail that. I call that switch baiting, and it really seems to work, and it's really fun to do. Okay, this is my second favorite, not in any particular order, but these are the two that I use. This is, like I said, the river to sea. It says it right there. Wide glide subsurface 120 SS. SS for subsurface, 120 for the size. This is also what they refer to as a 5-inch bait. Okay, let's see. These are all about the same size. There you go. It's the same size as the Kick A. The difference in this bait is that this is also slow sinking, and it was designed by Larry Dahlberg, my absolute fishing mentor of all time, because the man is a fishing engineer. He's not just an angler. He designs lures. Originally came up with this lure right here and I have them, and I failed to bring it out of the boat to show you, but like 8 or 9 inches. Weighs like 4 ounces. That was originally designed for his muskie fishing. And a wide glide bait, a glide bait in the muskie world is twitched it shoots off. They'll literally shoot off, stop. This one kind of maybe wiggles a little bit as it starts to sink, and you twitch again, and it shoots off. Okay? It's like a mullet swimming, getting scared, and then turning, and then getting scared, and then turning kind of thing. This one has, God, these hooks are sticky. This one has a weight and a sort of a bit of a rattle that when it turns, that's when it makes the noise. Okay? Me personally, I think this is probably one of the best mullet profiles I've ever seen. The big eye. And that's how you run it. You have to twitch, pause. Twitch, pause. The lure is going to shoot, stop, pause, sink a little bit. Then it's going to literally turn and twitch. It's not like a walk the dog, okay? It's not this, here's the surface of the water and just slapping the top, blah, 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 back and forth, okay? Although worked very quickly, you can do that too. So I vary my retrieve many times. I will pop it, pop it, pop it, and it'll be just like this. There's the surface of the water, and that head is just going back and forth with the body pretty much in the water. And then I will slow it down and do a twitch, twitch, twitch. And I mean, same deal. I've had redfish, trout, literally waking on this bait, which they wake on other ones. You know, I mean, all these lures are kind of almost created equal. It's a personal preference thing. Same deal here. I kind of beefed up a little bit of the split rings. And then I keep changing out the hooks, and I put on these. I bought these for this lure in particular. These come with really sticky, what they refer to as river to sea hooks. They might be owners. I don't not know what they are. I think the owners are these owners in here in this box. Oh, these are the original hooks. Yes, these are the original hooks. And I usually switch them out to these once these get dull or bent or whatever. These right here are the 4 times strong. I don't believe these are. These are the river to sea hooks. The difference thing I'm doing here is because this lure does such a long turn and then goes back on itself, again, I use a very stiff Mason hard type nylon leader. You could use a fluorocarbon that's really stiff. And then I put a larger than one of these, as you can see the difference. I put a big oval split ring because I really want this thing to be able to move around when it's in the water. All right, so there's a little focus on what I did on the last video that you saw that I called Trout Dancing, because I put in that good Zydeco music for y'all. And these are the 2 lures, and I soup them up with my owner treble hooks and the oval split rings by Eagle Claw, or any company really, but I beef them up with a 60-pound. We've got those jacks, big blues. I want to be prepared. This thing gets whacked by a little inshore tarpon or something. I want to be prepared. As a matter of fact, this swimming across the top of the water could be possibly, if you really wanted to try it, this right here could be an absolute killer kingfish bait. You get out around some bait, offshore a little bit, and throw this next to a school of bait, possibly. I don't know, it would probably get eaten by a cuda, but that actually looks like a little cigar minnow also. So that's it. Get yourself a pair of quality split ring pliers. I got to constantly find mine because I got them in the boat one day and then I got them in my tackle room the next. Egret baits, kick game, mullet. Neither one of these can you find in Jacksonville, Florida, but in the description of the video below, I will put links to where you can find your own. River to Sea, Egret baits, my two favorites, and I think that the video proved that I did last time, which was just a week or two ago. I think it proves it that these two here will bust some big old trout. All right. Thanks for watching.